I grew up in a really musical household. Everyone on both sides of my family played music. No one professionally, but that didn't matter. Our household was filled with weekends of jam sessions, and it was country music pretty much, and some bluegrass, some gospel, but pretty much country music. And I started piano lessons when I was 5 years old. And then I became involved in school band when I was in junior high. So it's always been a part of my life. And I made the declaration at age 4 or 5 years old that I'm going to be a country star when I grow up. Well, I learned early Loretta Lynn songs and Connie Smith and Buck Owens songs, church songs, Hank Williams Sr., ragtime music. My grandfather liked Scott Joplin music. So that's random. I haven't thought of that in a long time. But the Maple Leaf Rag, the Entertainer, you know, all that ragtime music. Like I could go play in a saloon out west and fit right in right now, if I had to. My piano teacher, Louise Welburn, really, you know, she taught me music, to read music on the piano. And although I played by ear, she really insisted that I learn to, you know, to read music. And Mrs. Kramer, my grade school music teacher. But I have to say that I think the person who influenced me the most would be Mr. Hicks. He was my junior high music band teacher. And what happened was I wasn't involved in school music because I didn't ask my parents to be in the band. I was afraid to ask them if I could be in the band because I'd been taking piano lessons. And I didn't want to ask my parents to get it. It cost money to be in the school band because they'd have to buy me a horn. And I was the only kid in the grade school that didn't walk up to the high school 3 days a week with the other kids to participate in 5th grade band. I stayed back and sat in the principal's office with one other kid that didn't, you know, one special needs kid that wasn't even able to play an instrument. And so when I got to junior high, I took a class called General Music, which didn't require a kid to have a horn, but it was a theory class taught by Mr. Hicks, who was also the band director. After the first week of class in General Music, Mr. Hicks called my mom and said, "Why is this kid not in my band?" She said, "I don't know, she hasn't asked." And I got home and my mom said, "Do you want to be in the band?" And I said, "Yeah, but I don't want to have to quit piano lessons." And she said, "If you want to be in the band, we'll find a way to get you a horn." So I went in, talked to Mr. Hicks, and he said, "Yeah, you're going to be in my band." And I said, "Okay, great, I'm going to play saxophone." And he said, "No, you're going to play trumpet." I said, "Trumpet? I don't want to play that." And he said, "You're going to play trumpet." So my parents got me went to an estate sale, a barn sale, and got me a half copper, half brass soldered together trumpet with a dent in the horn. And they said, "As soon as you make first chair trumpet, we'll find a way to get you a brand new horn." And I quickly made first chair trumpet just to get, because that horn smelled like manure. And I quickly became first chair trumpet and made it all the way through high school and was first chair trumpet captain of the high school band until I graduated. But Mr. Hicks, God rest his soul, really, I think he changed the course of my, he changed the way that I understood ensemble music to be, which is very much what my life has become, learning how to play with other musicians. It would have been remarkably difficult for me to do what I do right now without having learned what I learned in high school band. Although I was being taught piano out of the public schools, it's impossible to measure what I learned in public school music education. That said, a kid who studies music in school gets higher math, reading, and comprehension grades all the way through their higher education. We know that. There are lots of statistical data that prove that. I just know personally that my musicianship just shot through the roof when I started playing with other musicians, hearing intonation, appreciating what other sections of the band were doing. So I don't know that I would be where I am today without school band. I think it's hugely important for all kids in public and private school to be introduced to music in schools, not just for the it fires a different synapse in the brain, obviously, that makes them better at, math and reading, and as we've discussed, we all know that. But I think the social aspect of being involved in music is really important, because not all kids are athletic, not all kids are brainiacs, not all kids fit in a lot of different social circles. And I was a band geek. That's where I fit in. And I think it's ever more, the importance is of a kid fitting in school is really important. For whatever way we can get a kid to get up out of bed every day and say, okay, I'll go. We got to find ways. We got to continue to create ways. And if school band or the arts and drama department is that one place where a kid feels like they can go and find a social inclusivity, being included and not excluded, I think if that alone is the reason, great. 10 years ago, I started a nonprofit organization called Reading, Writing, and Rhythm, and we put musical instruments and money into public schools nationwide, and it was just a small thought 10 years ago, and we've raised over $1 million in 10 years, and we're having our 10th annual Reading, Writing, and Rhythm benefit show in Nashville this year, and it's just, it's amazing the power of just a really good idea. And when you get a good idea and a lot of passion behind it, it's good things happen. And we've been able to help some California schools, and I think we've benefited schools in, 22 states so far. So it's been a good thing. People can check us out at, they can check out Reading, Writing, and Rhythm at rwandr.org. So that's rwandr.org.